Who's that? Yo, it's Z from the P-Town. 10 years deep, so it's peak now. I missed my shot, I had to rebound. Can I drifted off, but you'll see now. Yo, it's Z, man, I've been about.
Yes, what's good, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Started it a few years ago, but now I'm sort of picking it up and going to try and run with it, man. Basically, I'm going to be doing different stuff around boxing. So it'll be like the preview show, the reaction to the actual fights and the fight night. It'll be sort of hopefully other boxing content around like interviews and different things like that. But I really want to try and draw a narrative to where I get to know the boxers a little bit more. People who listen can buy into their story and follow their journey. That's what I feel like sort of passionately about within boxing. Is there's so many good stories and so many good sort of life stories and journeys to tell that people have experienced in and out of boxing in their life. And I feel like sometimes that gets neglected. And I think that if people knew the fighters more, that they would buy into the sport more as well. So it's going to be better for boxing all around. Anyway, let's get into this video. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe and look out for the new content coming out soon. We're going to get into what will be a weekly show. So I'd obviously do the weekly preview and a weekly reaction show to the boxing on the weekend. So we're going to have a look at the lineup for this weekend and also see what good fights there are as well. So we're going to start on Friday night. So if we jump in, I've got Box Rec up here so that we can have a look through. So this is Friday night. I believe it's on the Zone. It's Shakan Pitters. If you guys don't know who Shakan Pitters is, he's former British light heavyweight champion. Been in some decent fights. Obviously had the fight that he lost to Craig Richards. I'd say that's probably his biggest fight to date. And he's challenging for the European light heavyweight title, which is a good, which I suppose is a really good stepping stone for him. And I don't recognise this guy. 12-0-1. Let's have a little look at his record. Who has he fought? Not looking good. He's only fought 2 people really with a winning record. I suppose he's fought a few here and there, to be honest, but he's not fought anyone of note, has he? Let's be totally honest. He's not gone more than, he's had one 10-round fight, which didn't even go 10 rounds. Been 8 rounds on a couple of occasions. Yeah, it's a gift for Pitters to win the European title, if I'm totally honest. I think he's been in some decent form. He's had a few wins, hasn't he, recently? Let's have a look. Yeah, he beat McIntyre and he's beat the sort of forever reliable Darryl Sharp. And he's not fought for that long. I didn't realise he hadn't fought for that long. So to jump into that, how has he managed to get a European title fight after being out of the ring for, what is it? It's like 18 months. Honestly, I don't understand that. But let's have a look at the other people on the card. Let's have a look. So I think Shakan Pitters will probably win that. And he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did stop him. Sort of mid-rounds, I think. Shaquille Thompson. So Shaquille Thompson is a great prospect. Whenever I've watched him, I've been really impressed. I think he's a decent puncher. I think he's got that range and he's got that sort of reach, really, where if he catches you on the end of punches, you're going to know about it. I do think sometimes his defence lacks a little bit, and he will only know that for sure when he does step up in levels. Because, like I say, his best win at the moment is River Wilson Bent, who's sort of becoming I'd say like an English level fighter. He's won a few titles here and there. He's obviously been fighting on the GBM shows with Izzy Asif as the promoter. He puts on some good shows, considering they are small hole shows. They're sort of the premier of small hole shows in the UK at the moment. And I was arguing actually that I feel like he should get the BT gig now that Frank Warren is going over to the Zone. I think he should get that because he's probably making the most noise in the small hole circuit. I think he's got a real good vision, and he's obviously got a decent team around him as well with Adam Smith sort of being an advisor and leading on the commentary, and he's got a few good people involved. Obviously, Barry Jones helps out as well. He's a great commentator, in my opinion. So, yeah, he's in a... We don't know who he's fighting, TBA. So he's 10 rounder, so it must be someone half decent. And then apart from that, there's not much on. It's just a lot of prospects taking on Journeymen. Berman Sanchez is just a good journeyman to see if people are ready to go up to fighting people with winning records, essentially. Calvin Moyo, in his second fight, fighting him is good going. I've heard some decent things about Calvin Moyo before. He's a decent fighter, apparently. So, yeah, there's just a few prospects. Dante Dixon. I think Dante Dixon is a massively wasted talent. Like, if you look at 2019, he turned professional. And we're in 2025 now. He's been professional nearly 6 years. He's had 7 fights in 6 years. And every time I watched him, I thought, he's good, him. He's really good. And look at the people he's fought. He had a few knockovers, if you want to call it that. And then he had a bit of a step up. And if I remember right, that was a bit of a tough fight for him. 58-56. And then he fought Jordan McCory. To fight Jordan McCory in your 6th professional fight is pretty good. And then he just lost momentum. That was 3.5 years ago. And then he fought 2 years. Honestly, he's a wasted talent. He must be, I don't know how old he is, but he's wasted a few years there, in my opinion. I don't know what the situation is with him, but he's a really good fighter. Reece Mould having a comeback after getting stopped by Ryan Walsh in a round. So that was a big shock, really, considering Ryan's age. Reece Mould just went at him and then just got caught, in my opinion. Lewis Booth, he had a decent fight. He lost to Konstantin Urzu, I think it is, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So he's a decent fighter. He's fought a lot of journeymen, a couple of decent fights in there, but yeah, he's just on the comeback trail now from that. But apart from that, there's nothing else to speak about, really, if I'm totally honest with you. So we will now see what is next up. We may as well jump into the big fight of the weekend. Big fight in the UK is obviously Derek Chisora, isn't it? But Derek Chisora is obviously fighting Otto Wallin, which it's a strange one, in my opinion, because I feel like at the stage he's at in his career, I don't see how that could be of benefit to him, because Otto Wallin, Derek Chisora is not going to go through Otto Wallin like Anthony Joshua did. He's not got the speed or the ferocity to get to him, in my point of view. I think he could wear him down late on. Obviously, Derek Chisora just keeps coming and coming and coming. That's just his game. Especially he fights in patches now, it seems like. He fights for like a minute a round or 30 seconds per round. A bit more defensive than he used to be because his feet have slowed down. But Otto Wallin could make it a nightmare of a fight for him if he just plays around with him and pulls with a jab, which I think he'll do. I think he'll just try and outbox him. It's not Otto's style. I've not seen him go forward and try and take someone out. So that's what he's going to do. And I genuinely feel like Otto Wallin could beat him on points. I think he's a good boxer. Despite his showing against AJ, I think he's a good boxer, and I think he could outbox Derek Chisora. I could also see it being one where Derek Chisora starts slow, gets outboxed for the first 4 or 5 rounds, then starts wearing him down a little bit, and it could be close on points, maybe majority or split decision. If it's close, Derek Chisora will most likely get it. But I personally feel, I'm going to go on a whim and say that Otto Wallin will beat him on points. I think he'll beat him where it should be a unanimous decision, but I think that Otto Wallin will get like a split or a majority decision. Masood Abdullah versus Zach Miller is a very good fight. Masood he's looked great so far, to be honest with you. He's obviously getting on a little bit, 31, 11-0, so he's not like a young prospect, but I think he's started well in terms of, you can see he's got power, you can see he's good technically as well, and he's obviously had a few good wins there, like considering the fact that before that he was 8-0. He's jumped in to fight Mark Leach, Kez Ashfaq, and then beat another undefeated fighter there. That's good going. Zach Miller, I remember rightly, he put up a really, really good fight against Nathaniel Collins. If you look there in the scorecards, majority decision, and he was massive underdog in that as well. He showed he's definitely of that level. But I think that whilst it'll be a close fight again, I think Masood should just edge it on points. I can't see him stopping him, if I'm totally honest with you. He's seemed very tough. He's gone 12 rounds with Nathaniel Collins there, so yeah, that's a good fight. Definitely one to watch. I think that will turn out to be a good scrap. Jack Rafferty versus Reece McMillan. So obviously Jack Rafferty, he's the one who stopped Henry Turner, which was a great fight. He was getting outboxed for 90% of the fight, and then you just saw him gradually get to him. I think he hurt him a couple of times in sort of round 7 and 8, and then he came on strong and he just wore him down. Proper old school fighter is Jack Rafferty. I think this will be a good fight because Reece McMillan, he had a good win. I think it was supposed to be Kane Gardner who was going to fight on this show against Jack Rafferty, and then obviously Reece McMillan beat Kane Gardner in this sort of tune-up fight. So he's won the Central Area title there. So he's got the fight. He's got there ahead of him. So it should be a decent fight. I think Jack Rafferty be a bit too experienced and a bit stronger, punches a bit harder. I could see him perhaps stopping him late again, if I'm totally honest. Either that or he will win clearly on points. But that's definitely a good fight to watch because Reece McMillan, I've seen him fight a few times. He'll go for it. Decent card, if I'm honest. Nathan Heaney back in action against an unknown European. He's had some decent wins. He's beat Spike O'Sullivan. Should be a decent fight. I mean, if he's not on his game here, then could be close. But you'd like to think that if it's remotely close, Nathan Heaney will get the nod because of how many tickets he sells. It's just how it works. I remember seeing this guy, This looks like a good fight. Let's have a look. Jesus. 19-0, 17 KOs. I've seen him fight before. He's 40 years old. 40 years old. Jesus. Oh, yeah, Bracamonte. He was the one that was on like one of them random shows. But he's fought some decent fighters. 2022. So he turned professional when he was 37-year-old or 38-year-old. Albanian. He'll have a good following. Probably why he's on the show. And then he's fighting this big lump. He's had some decent wins. That's a good 50-50 fight, that. Heavyweight title fight as well. WBO European. Walter Fury. He's not. I don't rate him. I've seen him a few times. He's nothing special. And then just a few more prospects. This Luce Williams heavyweight, 6'7" heavyweight. He's a decent fighter. I don't think he's going to be. Might be like a Commonwealth champion or something like that. But I don't think he's going to be any further than that, technically. But he's a good fighter. Do you know what I mean? He's a good fighter. He's experienced amateur. Look, a decent amateur record. Got that experience, international experience there. So he's good. He's a good fighter. Commonwealth Games gold medalist. So he can't be too bad, can he? He seemed quite good with his hands and stuff when I watched him. He was just a bit eager, obviously, in his professional debut. And that's about it. Make sure to let me know what you guys think about that as well. Who you think is going to win them main fights on that card. And then we've got a pretty decent card over in America, a top-ranked show. Keyshawn Davis, obviously Olympic silver medalist. 12-0 now. Fought some good fighters. Had them few fights, them sort of Latin American type fights. You know what I mean? The ones that they're as tough as they come, but their ability, the toughness outweighs their ability. If that makes sense. A lot of them fighters over in America. After that point, he's fought some good fighters. Yigit Patera, Pedraza, Madueno, Gustavo Lemos in his last fight. That was a very good win considering the fact that I think it was Richardson Hitchens that went the distance with him, and a lot of people thought he lost that fight. So to knock him out in the second round, that was a big performance actually. So he's fighting Denis Berinchyk, who's associated to Alexander Usyk. I remember when he won the world title, against Navarrete, which was a big win for him. Big win. Really put him up there. I remember seeing Usyk and the whole Ukrainian boxing scene team sort of thing that's there at the moment, supporting him from a distance. So he did really well with that. That was it was the same night as his first fight with Fury, 18th of May. So he's not fought for a while, not fought for 9 months. But he's a good fighter. He's just like been a bit inactive over the years and sort of started a bit late. So how old? So he was 2015. So 10 years ago. He was 26 when he started. Yeah, it's just been a bit stop-start, hasn't it? Fighting a couple times a year when you're starting out, it's not good enough. But he's beat some good fighters when you look at his record. I mean, look at this. Straight into 19. Look at all these fighters here he's just fought from the start. Stepped up in the recently as well. This is going to be a great fight. I think Berinchyk is like very good technically, physically strong, but I just think he's a bit too orthodox, a bit too. You kind of know what to expect for him to beat someone with the skills and the physical sort of advantages, like in terms of agility, that Keyshawn Davis will have. So I think Keyshawn Davis will likely win that one on points. I think he might get like a close unanimous decision win or like a majority decision win on that, in my opinion. Let's have a look at the undercard. Okay, Xander Zayas, he's a good fighter. He's fought some great fighters considering his age. 22 years old. From here, he's fought some good fighters. Georgia Fortea, he lost to Anthony Fowler for a title at some point before he retired. Patrick Teixeira, he's a good fighter. Yeah, so he's fought some decent fighters. Who's this guy then? Never heard of him. Slauer Spommer, decent wins, all in Germany. 100% Zayas will win that, probably stop him. You got some good names on here. Jared Anderson making his comeback after the demolition job that Martin Bakole put on him. Still got time to come back and be a decent fighter. Rohan Polanco, he looks half decent. Him should be one to look out for. Abdullah Mason's on there. Some solid fights, if I'm totally honest. Nico Ali Walsh is back out. It's a solid card. I'll probably stay up and watch that one. I tend to stay up and watch most of them, if I'm honest. Some people call me mad, but I just can't stop myself. I have to watch it. I don't know what it is. I love boxing, clearly. So really, that's kind of the 3 shows that are on this weekend. They're the main 3 shows. In terms of the main fight predictions, my predictions are that Keyshawn Davis will win on points. I think Otto Wallin will get a close decision against Derek Chisora. And then I think that Shakan Pitters will pick up a comfortable win in that European title fight. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen down below. I appreciate all your comments. Make sure, like I said, you subscribe to the channel and look out for more content coming out soon. There'll be plenty more where this came from. I'm hoping that I can get to some events and I can get my camera out, and if I keep doing it for longer and longer and build up some connections, that I can actually get a press pass and really get into the thick of things. That is my goal. That is my goal anyway. So if you guys like this this weekend preview, make sure you, like I said, you subscribe, you follow the journey, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care, people.